Hi, I'm Dr. Parmenter. Thank you for the opportunity to introduce Virginia Beach Sports Testing, a company dedicated to improving function and performance. At VBST, we evaluate athletes for physical restrictions. We objectively quantify those limitations that we find, and then we offer recommendations based on the athlete's test results. Now, these recommendations are based on clinical findings throughout the testing process, really making each athlete's home care program specific to their individual needs. Now, in our testing process, we utilize some of the most advanced technology in athlete analytics, and it's created by some of the best sports science companies in the world. Now, I've been a sports chiropractor for over 20 years, and in that time, I've been unbelievably fortunate to work on a number of elite athletes, from Olympic gold medalists to NFL and Major League Baseball players. And the one thing that's consistent, really with all of these athletes, is that structure always affects function. It's about objectively finding restrictions that exist and improving upon them. Now, the following video is going to highlight 3 companies that we believe are really in a league of their own when it comes to clinically analyzing an athlete. We hope this information not only sheds some light on the value of Virginia Beach sports testing, but also shows the benefits of having your team take part in a program that improves sports performance and at the same time prevents athletic injuries. So thank you again for your time, and welcome to Virginia Beach Sports Testing.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mike Clark. I'm the founder of FusionEtics. I've been studying human movement and human performance for over 20 years. The FusionEtics Human Performance System is designed for everybody. We created the system with the elite athletes, but we've been able to use the system with youth athletes, military personnel, so we can cover the gamut, because the human body functions as an integrated unit, whether you're 8 years old or 88 years old, and the FusionEtics system can help you accomplish whatever your goal is.
In the past, the places I've been, there has been no programming, where at FusionEtics, there seems to be a clear-cut goal for the athlete, for the everyday person.
I'll probably be coming back to FusionEtics. Like, I'm training for a triathlon right now, and I think it'd be a really interesting thing to kind of do check-ins, and just, injury prevention is a huge thing, and long-term training, you want to make sure that you're on the top of your game at all times. So I'll be back.
I've been on FusionEtics for about a month right now, and in that time period, it's basically erased all the hip pain and the hip tightness that I've had for the last 3 years of my life. Definitely made me a better athlete. Now I don't have to think about my movements, now I have to think about the pain that's associated with those movements. I can be more free and more reactive in what I do.
The first company that we've done a deal with is a company called FusionEtics, and we're lucky enough here today to have Tyler Wallace, who's the Chief Product Officer from FusionEtics. FusionEtics is a really interesting company. It was born from a group that has a tremendous history and research with medical institutions around the United States, frankly around the world, involved in a lot of professional sports, including the NBA and others. And the focus of FusionEtics is really trying to reduce injuries, optimize performance, and enhance recovery after injuries take place. A central component of the FusionEtics program is the functional assessment. And we're very hopeful that all of our athletes will essentially have a functional assessment done by FusionEtics. That assessment will show them what their strengths are, and more importantly, it'll show them where their physical weaknesses are. Then a customized program will be designed for that athlete to enhance and fix those areas where there's weakness. And the goal, of course, is to reduce injuries and, as I mentioned, optimize performance. So we're really excited about the new relationship with FusionEtics.
So wearables and the Internet of Things are very hot topics. Everybody is talking about them, but in fact I've heard it described as a jungle. It can be very confusing. And when you think about wearables for elite sport, what you should really be thinking about is advanced analytics for elite sport. And that is an easier way to understand this category. And in this wearable, you have two relatively distinct kinds of technology. One is the location technology. So you hear the media talking about GPS in describing this technology, but in fact GPS or GNSS, they are just outdoor location technologies, just like LPS or RF are indoor location technologies. That is just one part of the technology that tells us where an athlete is. But the other half of the technology solution is what we call inertial sensors. These are things like accelerometers, magnetometers, gyroscopes, and these are essential for capturing detailed information about the small, constant movements that athletes are making whilst they practice or whilst they play. And it takes all of this information being captured together. It might be 800 or 900 data points a second. All of that information is what feeds into our analytics engine and is what makes it possible for us to help elite athletes improve their performance and reduce injury. That is the way to understand wearables in elite sport. Well, Catapult's DNA is all about the confluence of sports science, technology, and wearables. We're not just a technology company, and we're not just a wearables company. Running through the heart of everything we do is a core of sports science. That is why we so consistently submit to independent third-party testing and validation of our technology and algorithms. That is why we are consistently patenting our technologies, and that is why we employ so many sports scientists to continually enhance our algorithms and our applications. It is all about bringing sports science to the technology of wearables. At Catapult, we do nothing but sport. Our technology and our team is dedicated completely to the elite athlete, the elite teams, and elite sport.
There are two athletes on the baseline. Athlete A sprints the length of the floor at top speed. Athlete B sprints to half court, stops, does 5 jumps, and then sprints to the other baseline. GPS will tell you both athletes covered the same distance, but that athlete A's velocity was higher, even though we know athlete B did more work. Athlete tracking provides the basics of player workload, but team athletes don't move methodically in pattern. They're jumping, changing direction, colliding, accelerating, and decelerating, which GPS and cameras can't measure. So how do you enhance these movements? How do you know an athlete accelerates faster on one side, or the biomechanical effects of high jump volumes? To manage anything, first you must measure it. Catapult developed a revolutionary performance algorithm that uses accelerometers and gyroscopes to graphically evaluate the magnitude of every micro movement an athlete makes. IMA combines advanced electronics with complex mathematics traditionally used in sports science laboratories, packing it into an optimized unit for use during competition. Because the force of gravity acts on every object, the standard tracking device gets confused between athlete movement and unit orientation. However, IMA compensates by creating a gravity model using advanced Kalman filtering so that athlete movement is measured in a real-world coordinate system. Dividing movements into intensity zones build up profiles of athlete norms and recognize biomechanical red flags. IMA is the next level of in-depth performance analysis, holding a magnifying glass on explosive movements not seen by the naked eye. Welcome to the future of athlete analytics.